When the market begins to tremble, most people panic. Screens glow red, portfolios shrink, and headlines shout that the world is collapsing again. Yet for the calm and disciplined investor, this moment is different. It's not chaos, it's a test. A market downturn is more than numbers falling. It's a mirror that shows what kind of investor you truly are. Those who built their wealth on impulse see fear. Those who built it on principle see opportunity. Wealth protection begins long before a crisis appears. It starts with how you think about money itself. If your idea of wealth is tied to market prices, you'll always be controlled by emotion. But if it's tied to patience, real assets, and purpose, no headline can shake it. Picture an investor named Daniel. He's careful, consistent, and grounded in ethics over the years. He's saved wisely, invested in businesses that serve people, and avoided speculation. When markets rise, he remains humble. When markets fall, he remains steady. Daniel knows downturns are not disasters. They are cycles necessary, temporary, and natural. Each one wipes away the excess and reminds us what's real. The first rule of protection is simple: liquidity. Cash is not a weakness. It's breathing space when others are forced to sell. Liquidity gives you choice. It allows you to meet your needs without touching your long-term investments. It lets you buy quality assets when they fall below their worth. The second rule is diversification, not the illusion of owning many things, but the wisdom of owning the right mix. True diversification means balancing assets that behave differently. When one declines, another stays steady. Ethical investors focus on companies with real value, products, services, and foundations built on honesty rather than debt. Then comes the discipline of debt control. In a downturn, debt becomes heavier. The investor who borrowed to invest feels pressure from both sides, falling values and fixed payments. Protection means freedom from unnecessary borrowing. It means living with clarity instead of complexity. An essential safeguard is the emergency reserve, a quiet shield against panic. It keeps you from selling in fear and helps you handle life's sudden turns. Experts often suggest keeping a few months of expenses in a stable, accessible form. It's not about earning returns. It's about earning peace. And peace matters, because protection is not only financial, it's emotional. Every market crash begins in the mind before it shows in numbers. News outlets feed fear. Social media spreads panic. Investors chase what others are doing. The wise step back. They watch. They analyze. They remind themselves why they invested in the first place. A disciplined investor asks questions that matter. Does this company serve a genuine purpose? Does it provide something essential to society? Is its foundation built on fair practice and tangible work? If the answer is yes, the storm will pass and value will return. Ethical wealth protection also means avoiding businesses that grow from harm or speculation. Real protection comes from real productivity. Companies that feed, heal, transport, and connect, they remain needed no matter how dark the economy becomes. Take Amina. She runs a small grocery business in a community. When large chains cut back, she adapts. Her customers still come because food, care, and trust never go out of demand. Her wealth doesn't vanish with the market. It rests in people, in purpose, in necessity. That is the essence of resilience, building value around what endures. Smart investors also practice rebalancing. Over time, some assets rise faster, others lag behind. Rebalancing means calmly realigning your portfolio. It locks in gains where things grew too fast and restores balance where opportunity now lies. It's quiet discipline in a noisy world. Then comes learning. Every downturn is a teacher. It exposes weak foundations and rewards strong ones. The more you study the lessons hidden inside the fall, the stronger your next rise will be. But knowledge alone is not enough. Contentment completes the picture. In the race to recover, many forget how much they already have. Gratitude keeps your emotions grounded. Without it, even wealth feels empty. During uncertainty, hidden opportunities appear. When fear drives others away, prices of good companies often drop below true value. Those who protected their liquidity, stayed patient, and kept faith in their principles can step in wisely, but only within what they understand and what remains morally sound. Wealth built on patience survives. Wealth built on shortcuts disappears. A downturn is not punishment. It's purification. It clears speculation and leaves behind what's solid. For those with vision, it's a season to strengthen, not surrender. The goal is not to escape loss completely. The goal is to stay intact, to protect the foundation that allows rebuilding when the tide turns. Those who hold to clarity, ethics, and long-term vision come out not just unharmed, but wiser. Daniel's story shows that wealth protection is not fear, it's foresight. It's the decision to stay stable when others lose direction. It's learning to stand firm when emotion demands retreat. The market may fall, headlines may roar, but resilience is silent. It comes from principle, from discipline, from knowing that value built on real work never truly vanishes. It only waits to be recognized. Again, in the end, protecting wealth is less about reacting to the storm and more about preparing before it. It's the calm before chaos that defines survival. Those who plan with patience, act with restraint, and align with fairness carry something stronger than fortune. They carry endurance. And endurance is the quiet power that turns every fall into a foundation for the next rise. When the economy begins to cool, the world changes its rhythm. Confidence fades. The noise grows louder. Every headline predicts a new collapse. Yet behind that noise, in quiet offices and calm homes, the wise are not panicking. They are preparing. Wealth protection during a downturn is not a reaction, it's a design. It is the careful structure you build long before the storm arrives. A structure made of discipline, patience, and purpose. True investors understand that markets breathe. They expand and contract, rise and fall, just as the tides follow the moon. Trying to stop that rhythm is impossible. The key is learning to move with it without losing direction. Every downturn reveals something deeper than charts or earnings. It reveals character. When prices fall, emotion takes control of the crowd. Fear becomes contagious. But character, steady, patient, focused, becomes the rarest and most valuable asset of all. The first principle of deeper protection is clarity of vision. Many people invest without understanding why. They buy because prices are rising, not because they believe in what they own when the fall comes. They panic because their foundation was never conviction, only imitation. To protect wealth, your investments must be aligned with understanding. Each dollar should represent trust in something you can explain. Something you would still own even if prices drop tomorrow. Imagine Daniel again. He's sitting at his desk, reviewing his portfolio as markets tumble. Some of his holdings are down by double digits, but he doesn't rush. He studies. He knows each company, its balance sheet, its purpose, and its people. He invests not in trends but in truth. That clarity gives him peace while others drown in noise. The second layer of protection is simplicity. Complexity often hides risk. The more layers between you and your money, the harder it becomes to see danger coming. Simplicity creates transparency. It allows you to understand how every part of your financial structure works. Simplicity also means avoiding the temptation of exotic instruments or quick return promises. Ethical investing is about knowing where your money sleeps at night. It avoids speculation, interest-driven schemes, and short-term gambling disguised as opportunity. The third layer is adaptability. Markets change. Economies shift. What worked 5 years ago might not work tomorrow. The investor who protects wealth adapts without abandoning principle. When one sector weakens, they explore another that aligns with long-term human need, not because it's trendy, but because it's timeless. Protection is also about perspective. During a downturn, losses can feel personal. The numbers on the screen become emotions in the heart. But perspective reminds you that the market doesn't measure your worth. It only measures sentiment, temporary, shifting, unstable. Perspective also teaches patience. Every major downturn in history has eventually recovered. The investor who survives is the one who can wait without losing hope, who understands that a temporary decline is not permanent destruction. During uncertain times, building multiple streams of income strengthens your financial base. Not every stream needs to be large, it just needs to be steady. Ethical side ventures, skill-based services, or small business projects can serve as anchors when the primary flow slows down. Take Amina again. Her grocery business weathers the economic chill, but she adds a new dimension, local delivery. While others cut expenses, she adapts to customer needs. Her resilience doesn't come from luck. It comes from action grounded in awareness. Wealth protection also means protecting yourself from psychological exhaustion. Constant fear-driven news can lead to poor judgment. Wise investors disconnect often. They focus on what they can control, spending habits, learning, and gratitude. One of the most powerful shields in a downturn is humility. It reminds you that you can't predict everything, and you don't need to. You only need to manage risk wisely. Humility keeps you from arrogance in good times and despair in bad ones. The heart of ethical protection is fairness, treating others as you'd wish to be treated. Investors who protect wealth by exploiting fear or creating harm may gain temporarily, but they lose the foundation of stability. True wealth is sustainable only when it contributes value to others. Practical protection also involves reviewing your expenses. Every dollar saved through discipline, is a dollar added to your defense. Reducing wasteful spending doesn't mean living with less joy. It means living with more purpose. You redirect energy from consumption to creation. When the world is panicking, a quiet routine becomes a fortress. Maintaining healthy habits, learning, exercise, gratitude, family, grounds your mind in stability. Because the strongest protection in any downturn begins within you. Another element of safety is understanding market cycles. Economies expand for several years, then contract for a period. Each contraction resets valuations, removes excess, and prepares for the next growth phase. Recognizing this rhythm prevents emotional overreaction. During the contraction, governments may adjust policies, interest rates may fluctuate, and confidence may waver. But through it all, the core truth remains: value based on real productivity eventually returns. Ethical investors look for signs of renewal rather than fear. They observe consumer needs, technological shifts, and resource demand. They invest where humanity's long-term requirements meet moral business practice. Consider the example of clean energy, sustainable housing, food production, or digital infrastructure. These industries may face volatility, but their purpose remains constant. People will always need light, shelter, nutrition, and connection. Protecting wealth also involves protecting your education. Continuous learning keeps your mind agile. In slow markets, reading, analyzing, and reflecting strengthen the ability to act wisely. When momentum returns, this is why the wisest investors never waste a downturn. They use it as training. They review past mistakes, refine strategies, and rebuild better. When others freeze in fear, they plant seeds for future harvest. Still, protection is not isolation. Networking with like-minded, principled individuals creates shared resilience. Discussion brings clarity. When you surround yourself with calm thinkers, your own calm multiplies. In every crisis, there are unseen blessings. When prices fall, barriers to entry lower. New opportunities open for those who waited with patience. The wise investor doesn't rush. They prepare quietly, guided by value, not volume. One of the most overlooked defenses is generosity. Helping others in times of hardship builds invisible wealth, trust, goodwill, peace of heart. Supporting ethical causes or struggling businesses strengthens communities that in turn support you. Generosity doesn't weaken financial stability. It reinforces it by keeping ego in check and gratitude alive. A heart that gives with wisdom never feels poor. To protect wealth long term, you must view it as stewardship, not ownership. You don't control markets, you manage responsibility. That mindset prevents recklessness and encourages gratitude for what remains, even in decline. When Daniel looks back on previous downturns, he remembers that each one taught him something different. The importance of cash in one, the value of patience in another, the need for adaptability in the next. His portfolio may have changed, but his core principles never did. He knows wealth is not built in a single season. It's built through seasons, some warm, some cold, each one shaping wisdom. And in that understanding lies serenity. The most dangerous moment for any investor is not when markets fall, but when emotions rise. Fear distorts logic. Greed hides risk. The solution to both is awareness. Ethical protection means walking the middle path, neither overconfident nor paralyzed. It's the art of movement with balance. Even governments and institutions practice forms of protection. Through reserves, risk management, and measured spending, individuals can mirror the same approach, saving during plenty, reviewing costs, and never depending entirely on one source. Technology has also made wealth protection more accessible. From budget trackers to educational platforms, tools exist to keep awareness alive. The key is using them mindfully, not as distractions, but as instruments of discipline. In moments when it feels like everything is falling apart, remember that markets are human creations, and humans adapt. Each fall is temporary. Each recovery begins silently, before the headlines notice. The wise do not chase the rebound. They prepare for it quietly, patiently. Because real wealth is not measured by what you gain in the rise, but by what you keep in the fall. The greatest investors of integrity build their legacy during the downturn, not after it. While others run, they refine. While others doubt, they learn. While others despair, they build. They understand that the storm doesn't destroy value. It reveals who understood value in the first place. Wealth protection, at its heart, is an act of gratitude. It's recognizing that what you've been given is a trust, and safeguarding it is both wisdom and duty. When the next downturn comes, and it will, the question won't be whether the market will recover. It always does. The question will be whether you remain grounded enough to endure and prepared enough to rise. So, protect your wealth with purpose. Protect it with patience. Protect it with ethics. Because wealth that rests on fairness, honesty, and service to others never truly collapses. It may bend, it may shake, but it stands. And when the clouds finally part, you'll find that what you protected wasn't just money. It was peace, resilience, and the freedom to start again stronger than before.